Building Supply, exclusive provider of the Outside Elegance line. Dress your home with style at OutsideElegance.com. And now, your host for St. Louis Baseball Weekly, Brian STULL.
What a difference one swing can make. Hello and welcome to another edition of St. Louis Baseball Weekly. Brian STULL, glad to be alongside another jam-packed hour of Cardinal conversation coming your way over the next 60 minutes as we've got a lot of news and notes from the past week to get into. Also, as we look ahead with the All-Star balloting now underway, which Cardinals stand the best chance of being able to play in that game coming up in the middle of July. The MLB Amateur Draft getting underway on Monday, so we've got all kinds of things to get into. A little bit of bad news to talk about as well. So what do you say we go ahead and get things kicked off in traditional fashion?
Leading off.
Ese noveno inning que estás abajo 3 carreras, los compañeros delante de ti empiezan a batear. ¿Qué sentiste tú en ese momento cuando fuiste a home?
Cuando yo entré a home a batear, yo dije, bueno, llegó mi momento, he tenido oportunidad de aprovechar y que la carrera del empate suba. Por eso traté de buscar un picheo que yo domine para poner la bola en el outfield para que la carrera pueda entrar.
I say when I step into a play, I say this is my moment. I just want to narrow the strike zone to a pitch that I can handle. I can hit it to the outfield so I can bring the run in third base. My goal was to bring the run from third base.
Yeah, his goal was accomplished. That was Yaro Munoz with the help of the Cardinals translator Carlos, who breaking down that 410-foot monster home run to Freeze's lawn. That was the walk-off winner on Thursday night for the Cardinals, a 10-8 victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates. And dramatic fashion, because this was a game that the Cardinals had a nice 4-0 lead. You were feeling good about that. They jumped on top of the Pirates early, so Dexter Fowler get a couple of RBIs, Tommy Pham getting in the mix. Again, a lot of good things happening. Jack Flaherty on the mound, and the Pirates chipped away at the lead. Flaherty winds up giving up a home run. Things are all tied up. Cardinals come right back and get the lead, and then Bud Norris, who's been so good all season long, gives up second home run of the year, second blown save. First time in a month. So you know what? If he goes through the season and only once a month he blows a save, I think the Cardinals can more than live with that. But the point is, Pittsburgh came back and they were on top of that game. And the Cardinals went 1-2-3 in the eighth inning. And the fans were already starting to file out of the aisles. And it was just going to kind of be, just I guess the exclamation point, the icing on the cake for what was kind of a rough day in Cardinal Nation. We'll get into that in a minute. And then lo and behold, here comes Harrison Bader leading off with a double. And the Cardinals just didn't stop, bringing a couple runs. Luke Voit, who had been recalled earlier in the day, and his pinch-hitting ability was specifically cited as one of the main reasons that he was called back up. Tyrell O'Neill wasn't getting the playing time, was having a hard time getting the at-bats that he needed. Luke Voit was very comfortable in that role, hit over 300 off the bench last year. So Voit comes up, hey, wasn't bombs and doubles, but that big line drive into left field to score a couple of runs. All of a sudden, there's a heck of a rally going on, and then Yaro Munoz sees one pitch and just absolutely spanks it. He said that was the first walk-off ever in his career. Ever. Like trying to think back even, back when he was a little kid. No, that first walk-off home run ever for Yaro Munoz. 6th walk-off win of the season for the Cardinals. And the 4th walk-off home run as Munoz joins Carpenter, Fowler, and Wong in that regard. And absolutely huge because, again, not all of the news on Thursday was great down at the ballpark. Earlier this week, throughout Cardinal Nation, flags were waving. People were planning their days around Wednesday. The national holiday in Cardinal Nation, Alex Reyes Day. Finally, making his return from the disabled list. Finally, since September of 2016, we were going to get to see Alex Reyes in a Cardinal uniform on the mound pitching after 4 sensational rehab assignments where he was scoreless. Whether it was in low A, single A, double A, triple A, no, they could not touch Alex Reyes. 44 strikeouts in 23 innings. The velocity was right up there, right around 100 miles per hour, just maybe a tick below. But there was nothing not to like, nothing to be unexcited about the return of Alex Reyes, who his 15-month rehab from Tommy John surgery, he did everything exactly as you wanted to see. Not just rehabbed his arm, he transformed his body. Then he goes out and he has the dynamic rehab assignment. If anything, Wednesday morning we were trying to take a deep breath just to okay, let's not expect too much. He is going to be going against big league hitters. And then Alex Reyes goes out, and in that first inning, He strikes out 2 of the 3 batters that he sees, and he picks off the other one at first base. And you're like, here go the Cardinals. Alex Reyes is back, and the Cardinals are getting ready to take off. Get that Rookie of the Year award polished and ready to go for Mr. Reyes. Had another couple good innings, but then in the 4th inning, suddenly the velocity drops. Now, we say this relatively speaking, but 5 miles per hour, even 2 or 3 miles per hour in the big leagues, that's the big difference. And when you're going from 97 miles per hour suddenly to 92, and your fastball is clocking the same as your changeup, that's why Mike Matheny, Mike Maddox and company went out to the mound to see what was going on with Alex Reyes. Apparently nothing was going on with Alex Reyes. So they went back, he finished the inning, struck out Villar, and actually recorded 4 pitches that were 95 miles per hour plus. But Alex Reyes doesn't come back out for the 5th. After the game, precautionary. Again, a little bit of concern, a little bit of question about why the velocity dropped off. Alex Reyes was adamant with everybody who was there asking him that, he was fine. Mike Matheny said, you know what, we went out, we looked, there was nothing mechanically wrong. There's nothing, if a player says he feels fine, everything, just can't really explain it. But as the Cardinals have been in this entire process, they wanted to be a little extra careful. So they had taken Alex Reyes out of the game. As we found out Thursday morning, and then as general manager Michael Gersh further explained, that was very much the right decision, as Alex Reyes is back on the disabled list.
Alex Reyes has a significant lat strain. It is not going to be a couple starts. It's going to be more than a few starts. We don't have all the information yet, so we don't know beyond that how long it's going to be. But it is not a minor injury, and we're gathering more information.
Is this fairly common? I mean, it seems kind of unique to see a guy coming back from Tommy John have this, or is this actually somewhat common?
No idea how common it is. I don't know. Couldn't comment.
Is this something that just came up during the game, when in the game, or was this something that had been lingering before the start?
First we knew about it was really this morning. He our staff went out to visit the mound because the velocity was down. As you saw, Alex shook his head that he was fine and stayed in the game. Post-game, when the adrenaline went away, he was stiff, he was sore, stiff and sore enough that we knew we were going to DL him and make him miss at least 1 start, which is why we already had Myers on his way back. But when he went to the doctor this morning, they determined it's a significant strain.
Is there a thought that perhaps that was the result of him pushing himself to re-increase that velocity after the trainer came out yesterday?
No idea. No idea.
This is more serious than Martinez's lat strain then?
Yes. Yeah.
So is there a procedure that's involved, or is this just rest, or what?
Don't know yet. That's why he's going to see us get a second opinion with a specialist in the next few days, and when we have all the information, we'll have a better answer. But
minimum amount of time for Alex in terms of that, do you have any sense?
I really, no. I mean, like, we're sending him to a second opinion, a specialist, because this is not something that is common enough that there's a obvious, timeline. So, not really.
Not good news. Not good news. Sometimes when a player is going to get a second opinion, it's because either the player or the team, doubts the initial results. This isn't that case. Alex Reyes isn't going to see a specialist for a second opinion to confirm that something's wrong with the lat. He's going to see a specialist so they can get an idea of just how significant that lat strain is, just how long Alex Reyes is going to be out of action. But as you heard Michael Gersh say, it's going to be more than a few starts. And whether you can compare this to the likes of a Noah Syndergaard, who missed 3 months, or somebody else, longer, shorter, the information just isn't known as of yet. So if you go best case scenario, and you say a few starts, well, that's pretty much going to wipe out all of June just in terms of starts that will be missed. And then building back up, you figure is probably going to take most of July. So again, just based on that small bit of information, which is very incomplete, I think probably best case scenario is, if you're hopeful and the fingers are crossed, you got everything going, maybe August. Because if it's a significant strain like that, again, Alex Reyes is going to have to be shut down for a period of time. Whether further treatment or procedure is required, don't know, but just by nature of it being a significant strain, you would think probably just 1 week of being shut down isn't going to be enough. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a little bit better. Maybe a specialist, after things calm down, that inflammation that I'm sure came along with the strain settles down, they can get a better look at everything. Maybe it'll be a little bit better than that. Again, Michael Gersh was very clear that that's why he's going to a specialist, so they can get a better understanding of what exactly they're going to have to deal with. But anytime a front office executive uses the word significant, that's very telling. And I don't think Michael Gersh was trying to downplay or disguise this situation at all. I think there are just some things that are unknown, but obviously a very disappointing situation for the Cardinals, but for Alex Reyes, who, again, he did everything right with this rehab. Everything right. And I know Tommy John has become so commonplace that I think a lot of times we just dismiss it. It's like, oh, you know what? It's going to happen. It's an eventuality. It's not an if, it's a when. That if you are a professional pitcher, at some point you're going to have Tommy John surgery, you take the year off your rehab, and then you're good to go. You get back out there and everything's great. Well, here's just a reminder. Tommy John surgery is not 100% successful. It may be high 90s, but there's still that small percent. So there's no guarantee. On top of that, you do have to actually do the rehab. You and I, who aren't professional players, if we had Tommy John surgery, guess what? You know what? We could probably be back at work in a matter of, a couple of weeks, less than that maybe. Do everything left-handed or right-handed, and just it's no big deal. But when you're going to be throwing a ball 100 miles per hour, it takes a little bit longer in that rehab process. And Alex Reyes went through, was patient, learned a lot about himself. As mentioned, transformed his body, worked alongside Zach Duke for a while, had his rehab down at Busch Stadium, so he was working with the Cardinals staff, was around veterans, was a sponge, soaking everything in, and had been chomping at the bit to get back out there. And now to have the rug pulled out from underneath because of the lat. And you do wonder, is it because he went and threw those extra couple pitches after he was visited on the mound to try and show, well, I'll let him know I can still dial it up. I'm fine. Did that make it worse? Was it already strained and it didn't make any difference whether he threw 4 more pitches or 40 more pitches? No harm was going to be done? I mean, was it the strain that actually caused the drop in velocity? Alex Reyes wasn't feeling it. But when that adrenaline disappeared, then suddenly it felt a little bit different. Mike Matheny, by the way, Alex Reyes was not available down at the ballpark on Thursday. I don't know if he had not left to go to the specialist yet. They were still trying to line up that appointment, but there was no availability to get to talk with Alex. And I can honestly understand that he may not want to talk to try and be able to put those emotions into words. I think we all probably have a pretty good idea of where he was coming from. But someone who did speak with Alex Reyes was Cardinal manager Mike Matheny.
Obviously for us as a club, we'd love to see him out there on the mound every 5th day, but can't get past just what a just still know he's going to have a great career and still end up doing great things for us this season. But just that, you work so hard for that day to get back in there, and then any kind of delay at that point, it's just hard for a guy. He was, I don't even know how to properly describe it. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. He was beyond sad.
Yeah. Beyond sad. And Mike Matheny was asked, do you think those additional pitches were the difference? Didn't know. But whether you're Mike Matheny or any other manager currently in the game or in the past or what, if you see something that's a little bit off, and this is such a unique sort of situation. This wasn't a case where someone's like suddenly looking down at their ankle and they've got a little limp, or they're kind of grabbing at their hamstring, or they're moving their arm around like their shoulder or their elbow, something's bothering them. If you were watching the game, and I realize Facebook had a couple of little glitches, so it may have been difficult at that particular moment, but if you're watching Alex Reyes, there was nothing notable about the way he was throwing the ball except that the velocity was down. It was down. He's throwing 92-mile-per-hour fastballs instead of 97. So he's visited on the mound. You heard him say, hey, look at us like we're crazy. Like, why are you out here? I mean, I don't know what else. Again, there was nothing. Can you imagine this scenario just for a second? Mike Matheny takes Alex Reyes out in the 4th inning, and there is no lat strain. There's nothing else. But after the game, so why'd you take Reyes out? Well, his fastball was only 92. What? You took? Yeah, his fastball was 92. Alex, how are you feeling? My shoulder's fine. My elbow doesn't. No, I feel great. I'm a little tired, a little fatigued, which, let's see, you're making your return to the big leagues. There's probably a lot of emotional energy that went into that. So as the game goes on and you're facing big league hitters, they're going to be a little bit more taxing than the minor league hitters that you faced. Maybe there is going to be a little bit of that wall that hits you at some point. Yeah, we took him out because his fastball was only 92. So there's nothing else wrong. There was nothing else there. Of course you're going to leave him out. Why would you take him out at that point? If a player, pitcher, position player, otherwise, isn't showing anything, they say they feel fine, there has to be some trust between player and management. In this case, there was something actually wrong. And they did set him down as a precaution afterwards, let him finish that inning. I think this is just a unique, odd circumstance. Hopefully this isn't going to be season-ending for Alex Reyes. I think that's a real possibility, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. Maybe there's something that baseball in general can learn coming back from Tommy Johns and everything about how the lat is going to be connected to the whole process. But again, the guy had 4 rehab starts. 4 rehab starts where he was touching close to 100 miles per hour and he was throwing, 70, 80 pitches. They did everything, the baby steps along the way. And there was no telltale sign that this was going to happen. So I already saw some people, and I know there's some people that no matter what happens, Mike Matheny is wrong. Likewise, there's some people that Mike Matheny can do nothing but right. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. But for the people that have blamed this already on the Cardinal manager, how would you have handled it differently? I mean, if you're the man, how do you handle that differently? You walk out, you talk to him, he's like, no, I feel fine. No, you still have to come out. I mean, he didn't throw 78. It's not like his arm was just hanging there limp. Everything looked the same. Visually, optics were fine, except that the radar gun was a couple ticks slower. So at this point, I would take that animosity and I would try and roll it up and turn it into some positive vibes to send out to Alex Reyes for a speedy recovery. That's what I would do with that. But that's me. There is some positive, some good news, though, coming out of the Cardinals. It wasn't all disappointing. It wasn't all bad on Thursday down at the ballpark. When we come back, we'll have some of that positive, some of that good news for you on the injury front. There actually is some of it. We'll share it straight ahead. Brian Slow with you at St. Louis Baseball Weekly, part of the Gateway Sports Network.
You already know Arrowhead Building Supply is the premier supplier of roofing and siding in St. Louis. But did you know that Arrowhead is also your exclusive supplier of Provia vinyl siding? Furthermore, Provia is the very same vinyl siding which used to be called Heartland siding. Yes, Provia is famous for their doors and windows. But you contractors remember Heartland siding very well, with its great performance and those famous heart-shaped weep holes. Call your local St. Louis area Arrowhead location today and compliment your Provia doors and windows with Provia vinyl siding. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey Cardinals fans, when it comes to advertising your business, the right choice of a marketing firm is crucial. St. Louis Marketing Group is an award-winning agency that knows how to help your business do one thing: get more leads. Pay-per-click ads, web design, print, anything marketing. Don't strike out. stlouismarketinggroup.com is the right place to hit your advertising out of the park. Visit stlouismarketinggroup.com, enter promo code GOCARDS for your chance to score premium seats to an upcoming game. Visit now, stlouismarketinggroup.com. That's stlouismarketinggroup.com. St. Louis Marketing Group, a better way to digital marketing.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. bankruptcy, or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just go to 18ignoremyscore.com right now. That's www.18ignoremyscore.com. Auto financing the easy way. 18ignoremyscore.com. Get started today. Auto financing the easy way.
We get the ladies together for a Cardinals game as often as we can.
And last year's was pretty amazing.
So a foul ball comes sailing toward our section. It leaves Olympic hurdles over 2 rows. Farehand catches it.
And there's this adorable kid just staring at me.
And Liz yells, "In your face!"
I didn't yell at him.
It's about more than the score. The Cards take on the Pirates the weekend of June 1st. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
You can stay updated on the St. Louis Cardinals 24/7 at STLBaseballWeekly.com. Breaking news, plus all of the interviews from the show and bonus web features are just a click away at STLBaseballWeekly.com.
What makes a barbecue champion? It's skill, it's swagger, it's choice meats, superior spices and sauces. But it starts with the simplest cooking fuel, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, made of 100% pure Missouri oak, hickory, and maple. It's premium charcoal that lights quick and burns hot, with a rich wood aroma that complements the natural flavors of meats. And because it's free from chemicals and impurities, it's more responsive for superior temperature control. What makes a barbecue champion? Rockwood Charcoal. Smoke the competition. Visit rockwoodcharcoal.com for tips and stores near you.
Need those last-minute lineup changes when you're waiting in line outside of Busch? Then be sure to follow Brian Stull on Twitter at StullESTL for all of the news from the clubhouse and more. And now, back to St. Louis Baseball Weekly with Brian Stull.
Yeah, Yadi's doing all baseball activities today. Everything I've heard so far, that's going fine, unless something goes wrong in the next little bit. Our plan would be to send him out on a rehab assignment in Springfield on Saturday. He will definitely play more than one. How many he plays will somewhat depend on how it goes, how he feels, how he recovers, all that sort of stuff. But it won't be just a one day.
Springfield will be a happening place this weekend. Yadier Molina definitely in the lineup on Saturday. Quite possibly, very likely, that he'll also be in the lineup on Sunday. And, oh, by the way, it's also Paul DeYoung bobblehead giveaway on Saturday night as well. So a twofer down there is some good news. I promise you, some good news from down at the ballpark on the injury front as well. It wasn't all depressing, obviously disappointing regarding Alex Reyes, but showing up at the ballpark on Thursday, you see Yadier Molina out on the field mingling around, going through some of his customary warm-ups, which means he was playing some second base and shortstop. He likes to get out there and just kind of, again, it's a way to stay loose, take some ground balls. He was helping them turn some double plays. He wasn't jumping up in the air doing anything acrobatic, but just kind of being the pivot man and relaying the balls. Actually, Jose Martinez and Luke Voigt were working on some plays at first, and you had Wong and Garcia and Jerko getting some reps over at second base. So Yadi was there helping out, and we had seen earlier in the week on social media, Yadi and the Cardinals have put up some video of him in the gear, just catching some baseball. So it was all a good sign. I think we all felt, based on his track record, based on just his incredible ability to heal and just toughness, that Yadi would probably be back sooner than later in terms of the doctors estimating his return from that pelvic injury with the severe hematoma. Here's the one question that if I'm Yadier Molina, I'm asking this, and maybe if he doesn't want to ask this, if I'm family, I'm going to be asking the doctors this question. It's great that he's been cleared for baseball activity, but I want to know, how long would I need to be out to make sure if another situation occurs, another foul tip happens to arrive in the same area, that you're okay, that you're able to sustain another such blow? Kind of like with a concussion. Your body is built to, most of the time, depending on how severe it is, but for the most part, your skull, your brain, it's protected. It's that car bumper. It can sustain one crash. But if you have a second crash within, that immediate time frame, you're very vulnerable. You're more vulnerable than normal because your usual protection systems aren't there. Not that there's a lot of protection systems in the pelvic area, but I would want to make sure that besides the fact that you're feeling good, that you're able to move, that sort of thing, you're no longer sore, can you sustain another foul tip, or do you need to wait, again, that certain time period? So I would assume that they're clear of that because he was cleared for all baseball activity. And I would assume that was part of the discussion on the medical doctors, but that would be a big concern because no matter what sort of Kevlar or whatever you're going to be wearing back behind the plate now, just by nature of the position, you are going to get hit again. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Any catcher getting behind the plate, at some point, there's going to be another shot. And you just want to make sure you're, again, as safe and as possibly can be. But good news on that front is Yadier Molina, again, getting closer and closer to his return, as he will be Saturday in Springfield. Sunday would make sense, and I know the Springfield Cardinals are expecting him to start on Sunday. That's the way that they're positioning it on the website. I would put this little cautionary note up there, though. You may need a day of recovery for Yadier Molina. He may play Saturday, and then you know what? Depending on how he feels, and again, I know we're talking about Yadi, who's probably ready to go out and catch 1,000 innings nonstop right now. But it may be a case where, like, you know what? I had a full day's work. Yeah, Sunday may need to actually be a recovery day. At which point the homestand will be wrapped up in Springfield, and they'll have to make alternate plans, but they certainly can do that. So good news that Yadier Molina coming back, going to be playing down in Springfield. And Carlos Martinez just finished pitching down at Springfield. He was down there on Thursday night, his rehab assignment, which Michael Gersh had told us earlier in the week that if everything went well, then very easily Carlos Martinez could be back on Tuesday. Definite possibility that Carlos Martinez could be back to step into the rotation in the spot vacated by Alex Reyes. So the bad news is you lose Alex Reyes. The good news is it appears that Carlos Martinez is going to be ready to step into that spot. So you get Carlos back to start June, and Yadier Molina just around the corner. It's actually some pretty good news for the Cardinals in that regard. Regarding his rehab start on Thursday night, Carlos Martinez went 4 innings. He gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned as they were solo home runs, and he struck out 4 batters. He threw a total of 63 pitches. 44 of them were for strikes. Here's Carlos Martinez on his outing Thursday at Springfield.
I feel good, the only thing I say, I'm feeling really good with my arm, and I'm so excited to come back, and all my pitcher, I working with all my pitchers today, and I feel really good, really great with my pitchers.
Were you holding back a little bit at first before you really started throwing hard, or?
The first thing is I don't want to throw hard. I just trying to keep my balls down the knee, and on the song, and just try to feel good with my arm and to recover and to go again to big league.
And how are you feeling after four?
Right now I feel so great. I have a comfortable with my arm right now. I have a big strength right now, and my focus is come back again.
Carlos, do you think they'll want to get you another rehab start, or do you think they'll activate?
I think I'm gonna pitch Tuesday again. In big league, and I hope and I just waiting for another opportunity.
Yeah. So Carlos Martinez confirming the news or the plan that Michael Gersh had shared, that if everything went well, and the way things have gone for the Cardinals this year with all the action, they're not taking anything for granted. So Michael Gersh was very careful to say, if everything goes well, then yes, Carlos Martinez, a very definite candidate for Tuesday's start, which would make sense if you look at it. It would line up properly and be very seamless to get Carlos back in there. And that was the plan. And again, he threw 63 pitches, 44 of them were strikes. Carlos Martinez, of course, had the lat strain earlier in the season, which put him on the disabled list. And you just look at the time frame that it took for Carlos to come back from the DL. And his situation was much less significant than that of Alex Reyes. Carlos Martinez went on the disabled list, let me find it here, May 9th. May 9th. And so when he starts, let's see, Monday is the 4th, the 5th, so almost a month of action with just a regular lat strain. I say regular or so significant, how much do you multiply that by? By 2, by 3, by 4? Don't know. So over the weekend, certainly expect to gain some clarity in that regard regarding what will be next for Alex Reyes. Also, a couple other pitchers getting close. A couple still, Luke Gregerson started throwing again. Matt Bowman throwing again. In fact, Michael Gurr sharing a little bit the update on Matt Bowman as well as Greg Holland.
So Bowman threw a bullpen today. So he's in that phase, going through a couple more bullpens, and then we'll sort of see what the next step is for him. Gregerson is just starting out his throwing progression. So, yeah, they're all on the recovery path. But
Bowman closer than
Bowman's a little bit farther ahead, yeah.
Where is Holland at in terms of his recovery from the hip conditioning update?
He was seen by a couple specialists. He is probably going to start his throwing progression in the next, several days. But he has not started yet.
Yeah, so a little bit of an update on that hip impingement that was discovered in Greg Holland, able to move him to the disabled list so he can get healthy and then get right. And I've said this before, not going to belabor the point, but rather than just cutting Greg Holland and having the Cardinals eat the contract, the main objective here should be for Greg Holland to get right so he can contribute, that he can be a positive asset for this team. I mean, that's the whole reason they signed him, right? This is a guy who had 125 saves over his last 3 active seasons. You come in, you have some additional help there in the bullpen, whether he's actually the closer or he's the setup guy in front of Bud Norris or back and forth. I mean, we saw Thursday when you bring in Jordan Hicks a little bit earlier than what the plan would be, well, then you need that one extra guy to be able to step in there. Now, maybe a Matt Bowman who's getting closer, and if he returns to form, Bowman can be that guy. But if Greg Holland can return to form, to have him available, even if it's only for the second half of the season, that would be a nice weapon for the Cardinals to have in their bullpen. Rather than just, yep, you're done, see ya. You've already got him here. Get him right. And that hip impingement, well, we'll see. Maybe that was the issue. Either way, that is the update. Do have one other bit of injury news for you, though, and we will share that straight ahead as a chance to sit down yesterday with Paul DeYoung. That conversation is next. Brian Stowe with you at St. Louis Baseball Weekly on the Gateway Sports Network.
You already know Arrowhead Building Supply is the premier supplier of roofing and siding in St. Louis. But did you know that Arrowhead is also your exclusive supplier of Provia vinyl siding? Furthermore, Provia is the very same vinyl siding which used to be called Heartland siding. Yes, Provia is famous for their doors and windows. But you contractors remember Heartland siding very well, with its great performance and those famous heart-shaped weep holes. Call your local St. Louis area Arrowhead location today and compliment your Provia doors and windows with Provia vinyl siding. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
You can stay updated on the St. Louis Cardinals 24/7 at STLBaseballWeekly.com. Breaking news, plus all of the interviews from the show and bonus web features are just a click away at STLBaseballWeekly.com.
Hey Cardinals fans, when it comes to advertising your business, the right choice of a marketing firm is crucial. St. Louis Marketing Group is an award-winning agency that knows how to help your business do one thing: get more leads. Pay-per-click ads, web design, print, anything marketing. Don't strike out. stlouismarketinggroup.com is the right place to hit your advertising out of the park. Visit stlouismarketinggroup.com, enter promo code GOCARDS for your chance to score premium seats to an upcoming game. Visit now, stlouismarketinggroup.com. That's stlouismarketinggroup.com. St. Louis Marketing Group, a better way to digital marketing.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just go to 18ignoremyscore.com right now. That's www.18ignoremyscore.com. Auto financing the easy way. 18ignoremyscore.com. Get started today. Auto financing the easy way.
The Cards host the Pirates the weekend of June 1st through the 3rd with a great giveaway each day. On Friday, fans will take home a Yachty tumbler courtesy of Apple Vacations. Saturday is a giveaway you won't want to miss, an embroidered Cardinals jersey presented by Scott Credit Union. Sunday, fans will take home a Chris Carpenter bobblehead and can stay after the game for the annual Christian Day program. So, kick off your summer at the ballpark. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
What makes a barbecue champion? It's skill, it's swagger, it's choice meats, superior spices, and sauces. But it starts with the simplest cooking fuel, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, made of 100% pure Missouri oak, hickory, and maple. It's premium charcoal that lights quick and burns hot, with a rich wood aroma that complements the natural flavors of meats. And because it's free from chemicals and impurities, it's more responsive for superior temperature control. What makes a barbecue champion? Rockwood Charcoal. Smoke the competition. Visit rockwoodcharcoal.com for tips and stores near you.
This is St. Louis Baseball Weekly, brought to you in part by Arrowhead Building Supply. Visit them online at arrowheadbuildingsupply.com. Now, back to Stully.
Welcome back to St. Louis Baseball Weekly, joined now by Cardinal shortstop Paul DeYoung, who you've become a left-hander. You're southpaw now.
Yeah, I traded gloves with Austin Gomber. I got a nice new gray outfield glove for me.
I guess they said you got to have something to protect yourself out there. Is that it?
Yeah, I feel like I have to have a glove in the outfield shagging. I don't mind shagging, but I don't want to just do it with nothing on. So if I can't wear my proper glove, I'll wear the opposite.
And I guess the good news is on that left hand, I don't see like a big bulky cast, just a little bit of some bracing and some wrapping. How are things?
Things are good. It's where I'm at post-op, about 9 days out now. Everything looks better than expected, and now it's just about getting some time and slowly working my way back into things. But it'll still be a couple more weeks before I start, really trying to do some baseball activities.
So you just do like some of the running now, watch video, kind of try and keep the eyes sharp. Is it?
Yeah, I've been lifting a lot, running, doing my cardio, try to stay in shape, and I'm actually feeling better now than I did before the injury. So I think when I come back, my legs and arm will feel ready, and once my hand's ready to go, I think I'll come back stronger than I was before.
Now, when you say lifting, what kind of lifts are you able to do?
Lower body, and we have some ways to do some upper body work, but so far it's been pretty light.
When you move the fingers around, I mean, everything feels normal. It's just resting. Is that it?
Yeah, the fingers, I'm still trying to get my full range of motion back. That's the entirety of my hand therapy. The swelling's going down. It's almost gone. There's still a little bit in there. So just focusing on trying to get that down, and once that's down, I think we'll start doing some more activities.
What sort of anticipation when they talk about hand strength? Is that something that's going to kind of be, you're going to have to spend a lot of work on that, or is because of where it's at, should that not be an issue? Or?
It's hard to say. Really, I'd like to see the X-ray to show the new bones coming in healthy and all that. And once we get those signs, I think we can really start ramping up the activity, and then I guess just go based on how I feel from there. It's hard to tell, but I think I'm still, at least a month out.
I saw on social media a lucky Cardinal fan was at the dentist with you.
Oh, yeah. I got to see Dr. Goldberg over there, and then the kid happened to be wearing my shirt jersey, so just cool moment with that boy, and signed his shirt. That was nice.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Well, it's good to see you out here, and hopefully things will keep progressing well for you.
Thanks, Sully.
Yeah, good to see Paul DeYoung out there, and look up, and I'm like, wait, he's actually shagging, and then it's like, wait a second, he's not left-handed. But Paul DeYoung, as he shared there, progressing. And actually, Paul DeYoung has an outside shot of being named to the National League All-Star team. I think he's got a shot in the sense that if you look around, and again, the balloting is now underway. If you want to go over to MLB.com and cast your vote, you can do so. You can vote. Each fan is allowed to vote up to 35 times, and you can vote 5 times in one 24-hour period. So if you want to get out and you want to vote for all Cardinals, that's fine. If you want to vote for the team that you think would be strongest for the National League to defeat the American League, if you just want to vote for your overall favorites throughout baseball, however you want to do it, that's fine. You can certainly do that. But if you look at the numbers, if you go around and you look, Paul DeJong, even with this time that he has missed, is still leading all National League shortstops with an 824 OPS. He is tied for second with his 8 home runs and his 260 batting average. I understand it's 260, not 360, but that still ranks fourth. He's still up there. He's missed the time. He's still qualified. He's got it. He's there. Now, he's going to have to overcome some of the other names that are in the house, which will always be a little bit challenging, so to speak. But when you look at this Cardinal team as to who's got the best chance, Paul DeJong got an outside shot. I don't think he has the best chance, but he has an outside shot. When you look at some of the other positions, like second base, Colton Wong doesn't have he's got the defense this year. He's had, again, some of those great plays where I think he's actually very much would be in the conversation in terms of winning that first Gold Glove that he desires. But in terms of any of the offensive numbers, they're not there. Matt Carpenter has been absolutely red hot of late. There's no question about that. But his 229 batting average, which, not too long ago was down closer to 129, so it has dramatically climbed. But that ranks 9th amongst National League third basemen entering the weekend. His on-base percentage is only 5th. All of those things aren't going to be enough. And unless you're one of the makes, take nothing away from any of these guys, you're not going to get that same sort of fan vote. And I think that the online voting, while in some regards I think it's probably helpful for some people, I think there's something to be said for if you've got a nice homestand and ushers are walking around and people are able to punch those ballots, that part's gone, which was a bit of an unfair advantage. If a particular team was on the road, fans didn't have that same opportunity. So to me, it'd be a nice combination of both, where you can vote at the ballpark and you can vote online. But it's exclusively online for the 4th consecutive year. When you look at Jose Martinez over at first base, he's 4th in batting average amongst National League first basemen. His OPS is 6th. He's tied for 5th in the RBI category. Outside chance there. And you know what? Actually, Jose Martinez, there's enough time. If somebody gets absolutely scorching hot during the month of June, if Carpenter continues to keep doing what he's doing, things can change. But again, as the Cardinals enter this weekend, as the balloting opens up, I'm looking at the starters. I'm looking at the outfielders. Tommy Pham, 836 OPS, that's 9th. His 269 batting average is 10th. His 9 home runs rank 6th. I think the Cardinals are going to be looking at their pitching staff in terms of all-star representation. Miles Michaelis currently 6-0. Wins though, 6-0. In all-star balloting, wins do mean a little something. But even without the wins, Miles Michaelis, his innings are very comparable amongst the other National League starters. His whip of 0.98 is 4th, and he is one of 4 National League pitchers to have thrown a shutout this season. So I think Miles Michaelis is a very strong contender for all-star representation for St. Louis. Michael Wacha at 6-1. Again, you look at some of his numbers, a candidate. Bud Norris, realized he gave up the home run the other day, but really, with the exception of 2 outings, Bud Norris has been one of the best relievers in the National League. I think those are the positions as of right now that the Cardinals are looking at when it comes to all-star balloting. Unfortunately, for the likes of a Harrison Bader, he doesn't have enough at-bats. But what he's been doing is making the most of those opportunities. When he's been able to play, we've seen him in the field making plays. He's been coming through at the plate. That 9th inning rally, Yaro Munoz doesn't have the walk-off if Harrison Bader doesn't lead things off. Again, it was the Harrison Bader double that suddenly brought some life back into Busch Stadium because the Cardinals were down. They had lost the lead. They had gone 1-2-3 in the 8th. And then all of a sudden here in the 9th, Harrison Bader comes up and delivers that double to get things rolling.
Just get on base. There's still a game to be played, obviously. We've been in that situation before, so we're down 3 runs. Just got to pass the baton in that situation. So just put the ball in play.
Is there anything from Vasquez in particular where you're like, okay, I'm looking for this. I'm going to try and see him pitch and turn? Or?
No, I'm just picking up his slot. I'm just obviously fastball ready. He's got some life on his fastball, so just staying fastball ready and just using my eyes, and my eyes tell me what to do with my hands and everything else.
At what point in the inning are guys saying, hey, wait a minute now, we can win this thing?
when I stepped up in the box, without a doubt. Like I said, we've been in that situation before. I know there wasn't a guy in there who was doubting our ability to come back and win that game. So you got to have that mentality every single night.
Game that goes back and forth like this. I mean, you guys have a 4-0 lead, disappears, you're down, come to the 9th inning. How difficult is it to maintain that kind of confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's difficult. It is, it is kind of like here, but at the same time, it's the big leagues. They very talented guys over there in that dugout. So anything can happen at all times. So you just got to keep your foot on the gas pedal and worked out in our favor tonight.
Yeah, it did work out in their favor. And Harrison Bader isn't lacking confidence. I would not go so far to call him cocky, but he absolutely is very confident, and that really set the table. And then Luke Voigt, who we mentioned earlier in the day, had been recalled with all the moves that took place with the Cardinals. You've got Alex Reyes going on the 10-day disabled list, and Austin Gomber and Mike Myers were called up. Gomber to be used out of the bullpen. I kind of wondered if he was going to be in the rotation, but Michael Gersh making clear, no, he'll be in the bullpen. Mike Myers called up, as well as Luke Voigt, as Tyler O'Neill was optioned back to Memphis, as well as John Gant. John Gant had thrown a lot. He wasn't going to be available to pitch out of the bullpen and rotation, whatever, so you optioned him out to get the arms and Gomber and Myers up. And O'Neill wasn't getting enough ABs to stay sharp and was struggling, fighting it a little bit. So you bring up Luke Voigt, who hit over 300 off the bench last year, hit 10 pinch hits, and comes up and wasn't a bomb or a double, but the 2 RBI single certainly got the job done.
Well, I mean, you just got to, I learned a lot last year and preparing myself for those situations, always be ready. I mean, I obviously didn't expect to go down 3 runs in those last couple innings, and, I stayed, down there with Billy, kept fresh and was, hoping I was going to get an opportunity to help the team win. And, I've had a, rough start to the season, and to get that, fresh start going was an unbelievable feeling. And for Munoz to do that, man, that's unbelievable way to kick off the series. So.
Yeah, it was a tremendous way to kick off the series. And Voigt, by the way, saying he'd had a tough start to the season, hitting .237 with 1 home run and 12 RBIs in 34 games down at Memphis. But hit like that, suddenly get things recharged and ready to go. When we come back, mention Austin Gomber was in the transactions on Thursday. We'll catch up with the Cardinals left-hander straight ahead. Brian Stowe with you at St. Louis Baseball Weekly, part of the Gateway Sports Network.
We get the ladies together for a Cardinals game as often as we can.
And last year's was pretty amazing.
So a foul ball comes sailing toward our section. It leaves Olympic hurdles over 2 rows. Farehand catches it.
And there's this adorable kid just staring at me.
And Liz yells, "In your face!"
I didn't yell at him.
It's about more than the score. The Cards take on the Pirates the weekend of June 1st. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
You can stay updated on the St. Louis Cardinals 24/7 at STLBaseballWeekly.com. Breaking news, plus all of the interviews from the show and bonus web features are just a click away at STLBaseballWeekly.com. Don't forget to follow Brian Stoll on Twitter at STULLYSTL. Now back to St. Louis Baseball Weekly, brought to you by Arrowhead Building Supply, exclusive provider of the Outside Elegance line. Dress your home with style at OutsideElegance.com.
Well, how different is it walking in this time versus the first time?
It's a little bit different. Still kind of the same amount of nerves, same amount of anxiousness, I should say, kind of to get in. Obviously, I didn't get in last time, but I think it's easier now just because I've been around here. I know how the day goes, kind of how everything, familiar with the sites. Now it's just about getting out there and trying to do my thing.
A little easier, too, that this time it's clear. Michael Gersh said, Gomber will be available out of the bullpen instead of before it was like, oh, you might have to start a game. You might have to do long relief. It's at least a little more defined this time.
Yeah. I wasn't really told anything last time either. But obviously, with last time it was like 6 guys in 6 days, and I was the 6th guy, and I kind of understood what the role kind of entitled, and went back down. Struggled a little bit when I first got back down, but just trying to get back up here, and glad to be back. Obviously, excited that it looks like I'll get in the game this time. So be able to fulfill a lifelong dream.
I was going to ask you about the struggles because you went a long time between being able to throw. I mean, I know you were getting side sessions and stuff in, but actually being on the mound is a little different. Do you think that was what really made it tough?
I mean, I'm sure it's probably part of it's contributed to it. Part of it's just making bad pitches, There's going to be times where you're going to have, breaks, and there's kind of the first time I had done that. Always being a starter, coming up in the minor leagues, everything's so regimented, everything's so scheduled that I kind of always knew when I was going to throw. So coming up here and kind of changed things a little bit, but it's not like I would trade coming up here to stay on that schedule. So, I'm sure that was part of it, but part of it was just I didn't make good pitches for 2 starts, and then the last 2 starts I made good pitches.
And you're rewarded for that. Again, second-time PCL Pitcher of the Week. How did you work through it? What did you take away from being able to get yourself back on track?
I think a little bit of it was, I felt like obviously I got called up here and then didn't get to throw and then got sent back down, so I felt like I was close, and then I was trying to press, maybe, show them that, maybe like I'm not just like a long guy or whatever, whatever it may have been. Obviously, I think I was just pressing a little bit, and really it was just I wasn't really commanding my fastball and giving up homers, and the last 2 times out I commanded the fastball and didn't give up homers. That's kind of what it comes down to.
So you have a little talk with yourself, or just kind of like finally take that deep breath, or what changes that?
Honestly, just tired of struggling. Getting off to a bad start last year, having that bad first half last year, I felt like cost me an opportunity to come to the big leagues. By the time I started pitching good, there was already so many guys pitching good that they kind of had already. I felt like they had already kind of made their decisions for September, and so that was my main goal this year, was just coming in and trying to get off a good start, which I did, and then kind of struggled those last 2 times out. So just trying to get back to that. I think the way I've kind of approached it is every time I'm down in Memphis, just trying to pitch well enough to be the next guy up is the way I look at it. And, for a couple weeks I wasn't pitching well enough, and the last couple times I was.
Do you have a different approach, or how varied is the attack when you're facing a left-handed hitter versus a righty?
Just kind of maybe pitch selection, but as far as attacking, it's not obviously I have a good breaking ball, but it's not, I throw fastballs to lefties too. It'll be different, a little bit different out of the pen, maybe coming in to face a lefty, knowing that that's my job, that's my guy to get out. When you're starting, it's kind of just another guy in the lineup, trying to just get him out as quick as possible. So I think it may be a little bit of a different approach coming in to specifically get a lefty, but it's baseball, it's pitching, it's the same thing, so, I'm looking forward to it.
And obviously out of the bullpen, you're not saving anything, you're bringing it right away, so do you, especially breaking pitches, I guess that's such a feel thing, will you do a little bit more of that in the bullpen before you come in to have that ready, since you can't really work into it, or how does that change?
I don't know, I've never done it yet. I think from everything I've heard from the guys I've talked to, with the, some of the veteran guys have been in the bullpen for a while, have been great, always tell them and kind of giving me a little hints here and there. And everybody says the same thing. First time you won't have any problem getting loose. And so I'm not really worried about the first time. It's just, if I'm able to do what I can to, keep this roll, then I'm sure I would have to, tinker along the way. But right now I'm just looking forward to getting in the game.
Well, it's great to see you back up here, and I look forward to that first game action.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Austin. You answered my
There you have it. That is Austin Gomber, who is wearing number 68 for the St. Louis Cardinals, and would expect to see him in some action over the weekend. Almost thought he may come in on Thursday night just because there were some left-handers that were going to be coming up in the Pittsburgh lineup. But Munoz took care of that, and Mike Matheny had opted to go for Mike Myers before that, and Myers did a nice job, both of them being recalled on Thursday. But you look at Austin Gomber, who, as I mentioned, last week he was named the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Week, second time that he had earned that honors. When he got called up to the Cardinals, he was coming off that game where he had struck out 16 hitters for Memphis against the Iowa Cubs. That was on April 23rd. He didn't pitch in a game again until May 5th. You're looking at 12 days between. And again, you're throwing on the side, you're doing some of those things, but it's not the same. And in that first start when he was back down at Memphis, he allowed 4 runs. Now, he didn't give up the home runs that he was talking about. Those came in the next 2 games, May 10th and May 15th. He gave up 6 home runs in those 2 games. Still had good strikeouts. He had 9 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts. But then his last 2 games down at Memphis, he was back to the Austin Gomber that had gotten off to the good start, as he talked about, where he went 8 innings, and he only gave up 6 hits and 1 run. Then he went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and no runs, and he struck out a combined 15 hitters in those 2 games. So Austin Gomber, again, would expect to hear more and more out of him in the future with the Cardinals. And you go back to 2014, and I bring that up because the MLB amateur draft gets underway on Monday. You know, Austin Gomber, left-handed pitcher, selected in the 4th round by the Cardinals back in 2014 out of Florida Atlantic University. That's that little college, if you've been down to spring training before, that is right there by Roger Dean Ballpark. Those 4th-round finds. You know, a Harrison Bader, a Paul DeYoung, those draft picks that come up through the organization. Would it be great if the Cardinals had that next surefire superstar, if they're able to draft that guy? Well, of course it would. But the Cardinals, when you look at their picks again, they don't have a top 5 pick. They don't even have a top 10 pick. The Cardinals are right there. Oh, guess what? They're at number 19. There's a shock. They always seem to be right around that magical number 19 number in the 1st round, which is a credit to their success, but it also makes it a challenge for the scouting department because, you know, again, when you're picking top 3, top 5, it's kind of hard to mess that up. Not that you can't, not that there's any guarantees, but what are your odds selecting in that top category versus a little later in the 1st round? Now, I do think that just a 1st-round pick, period, you should be able to select. I mean, there's got to be, 35, even if you want to stretch it to 43 because of the competitive balance picks in round A. So the Cardinals are at 19 and 43. If you want to pick that, hey, I'm pretty good with choosing like the top 43 amateurs in the country. They should be able to contribute, you would think. But the Cardinals are at number 19 and number 43. They do not have a 2nd-round selection. But then in the 2nd-round compensation pick, with Lance Lynn signing in Minnesota, the Cardinals get the 75th pick overall, and then they also have the 95th pick in the 3rd round and the 123rd pick in the 4th round. So that's how the top 5 picks will roll up for the Cards: 19, 43, 75, 95, and 123. And again, the action gets underway on Monday. That'll be on MLB Network at 6 o'clock St. Louis time. Cardinals are off that day, so if you want to just get your draft fix, you can. And then it'll resume on Tuesday. In terms of some of the top prospects that are out there, you know what, I'll be honest with you. I really don't focus a lot on the high school and college game. I can tell you what I thought was interesting, though, is at number 17, again, according to the MLB prospect ratings, they've got a left-hander down at Ole Miss, Ryan Rollison. That name is familiar because earlier in the week I was speaking with St. Louis University Billiken baseball coach Darren Hendrickson. Good luck to the Billikens. Good luck to the Missouri State Bears as they're underway in NCAA action this weekend and down at the Oxford Regional. But Ole Miss is the host, and Ryan Rollison, the left-hander for Ole Miss, is regarded as one of the top pitchers in the country. The Billikens are likely to be facing him. So he, according to MLB.com, and I know there's various sites that do the rankings out there, Rollison's ranked 17th. So I wonder if a guy like that could fall to the Cardinals. Maybe he's going to go a little bit higher. Cole Wilcox is the right-hander that MLB.com has ranked in at number 19. He's out of Heritage High School in Georgia. Again, I don't know that Cole Wilcox is going to be that guy for the Cardinals. He might go higher, he might go lower. He fits the profile, though. He's 6'5", 220, right-handed pitcher. His fastball, 92, 95. Okay, but here's what the Cardinals like to get those pitchers. Obviously, everybody has a fastball, but it's the secondary pitch. And 9 times out of 10, it's the changeup that they have good command of a secondary pitch. Cardinals, you go back, you want to look at Michael Wacha? Yeah, fastball was there. The changeup. You want to look at Marco Gonzalez, left-handed pitcher? Sure, fastball. The changeup. Dakota Hudson has a secondary pitch. That secondary pitch is what's key. Jack Flaherty, secondary pitch. Now they've got to add to that. Luke Weaver, changeup to go with the fastball. They've got to add and build to that arsenal. But in terms of the pitchers, Cardinals like to get that. And I would think, in particular, when you're talking about that 19th slot, it's a little easier to try and draft an arm than who's going to be that next big power bat. We'll see how it plays out, though. All right, that is going to do it for this edition of St. Louis Baseball Weekly. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Don't forget, throughout the week, you can head over to STLBaseballWeekly.com, and, of course, you can follow me on Twitter at StullySTL. But until the next time, Brian Stull saying so long from St. Louis Baseball Weekly.
Serving St. Louis and the Metro East, we are WGNU, Granite City.